A very good afternoon. Many thanks for staying with us on TV 47. Welcome to Newsfeed. My name is Mombi Chege. Now, calm is steadily returning to clash-torn Nesut, Mariashoni and Indoswa areas in the eastern Mau Forest days after violence broke out in the region. Now, this follows the government's declaration of a dusk to dawn restriction of movement for people in the clash-hit areas. The clashes have since claimed 4 lives, with scores nursing arrow wounds at Albagan and Nakuru Level 5 hospitals in Nakuru County. David Mudoka reports.
Clashes that have marred edges of the eastern Mau Forest for a better part of this week seem to be fading away after the government dispatched more than 200 police officers to Mariashoni, Ndoswa and Nesuit areas to quell the tension and enforce a dusk-to-dawn curfew that was imposed by Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya. This follows the killings of 4 people during the clashes, with the latest person to be killed, a 24-year-old man who is said to have been shot by police during confrontations. Scores more have been left nursing injuries following the clashes suspected to have been caused by land disputes involving warring communities. Several houses and business premises were torched, with all activities grinding to a halt. Residents are yet to come to terms with the trail of destruction left by the attackers.
Kujaribu kukurumisha pikipiki kuenda, pikipiki mbili tatu zikanitangulia. Kabla sijakurumisha pikipiki, watu wenye walikuwa mbele yangu wakapigwa mishale na watu wenye walikuwa kwa shamba ndani ya mahindi. Sasa nilipoangalia vile watu wameanguka kwa pikipiki, nikawacha pikipiki yangu kuchungulia ni nini kinaendelea. Nikaona watu wametoka na silaha ndani ya mahindi.
Tens of families that fled their homes for fear of attacks have since sought refuge in local schools, including Oinoptich Primary School in Mariashoni.
Vile mnaona watoto saa hii bila anakaa pande hii, shida ambayo iko hapa ni kubwa. Hata sasa wengine unasikia amegonjeka pande hii, wengine hana dawa, hana mabrangeti, hana chochote.
Na ukweli ya kwamba tulikuwa kwa mashamba na tulinunua hii mashamba. Na yenyewe wakati tulikuwa kwa hii mashamba yetu, jana ama juzi hii mambo ikatokea, tukafukuzwa kwa manyumba, na mashamba yenye tunaishi ni shamba yenye tulinunua. Hatukuipa kabisa hata mbele ya Mungu.
Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya has said that peace meetings will be held in the area from Monday next week to seek lasting peace in the region. David Muthoka, TV 47.
Nairobi University lecturer Dr. Ken Oko is dead. Dr. Oko, a renowned sociologist, died this morning at a city hospital. According to sources from the university, Ken succumbed to COVID-19 complications. Until his death, Oko was a senior lecturer at the Department of Sociology at the University of Nairobi. Before his death, Dr. Oko has been vocal on issues related to sociology and relationships. Various leaders have eulogized Oko as a great man who has touched many lives in his profession as a lecturer, a psychologist, among other areas of duty. Quite a sad morning for the country. Now, international flights into and out of the country have resumed this morning after reopening its skies. Now, the country reviewed the list of countries that will be allowed to fly into the country. Kenya Airways Group Board Chair Michael Joseph says the company has been monitoring the health and safety measures put in place for the staff and customers since the resumption of domestic flights from 15th July. He added that the resumption of international flights is more than the movement of people. The country added 7 more countries on the list of countries whose passengers will be allowed to fly into the country when international flights resume today. Hundreds of Chinese nationals are said to be on their way back to their country after many were caught up by the ban on international flights in the country. And 13,861 youth from Mombasa County have been enlisted for the second phase of the Kazi Mtaani that will see them earning 455 shillings every day. Now, the second phase targets areas like Mathare, Kwarasi, Vietnam, Majaoni, Hodi, Mwembelegeza, and Kilimanjaro in Kisauni sub-county. While inspecting the ongoing national hygiene program dubbed Kazi Mtaani in Mombasa County, Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata said the coastal city has witnessed a sharp decline of insecurity incidences in the county. Now, the commissioner also distributed personal protective equipment to the youth recruited for the program, which included gumboots, gloves, and face masks.
Na 10 wakafanya wiki jana, 1,010 watafanya wiki 2 zijazo. Walifanya wiki 2 zilizotangulia 11 days, hizo siku zingine watafanya hii group mpya ambayo imeingia. Ndio maana tumekuja hapa kuwapa barakoa na kuwapa PPE zingine kama gumboots na gloves, ili wakifanya kazi wasipate kuumia na waweze kufanya kazi hiyo bila kuogopa kwamba watashika kitu cha kuwakata. Lakini pia tumewapa wananchi barakoa ili waweze kujikinga na corona ambayo imeanza kusambaa katika nchi yetu kwa njia kubwa, kwa sababu wananchi hawajakuwa wakichukulia kwamba ni kitu cha kuogopa, ni kitu cha kuepuka. Kwa hivyo barakoa inapotolewa hivi, kila mtu anakuwa tayari sasa kuchukua ile personal responsibility yake ya kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna. Lakini kwa mambo ya kazi kwa vijana, wajua kwamba hii ni sisitizo la rais wa nchi yetu ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta mwenyewe, ambaye aliona kwamba vijana wanastahili kuwa na kitu cha kuwasitiri wanapongojea hali rejee ile hali ambayo imekuwa kwa tangu zamani. Kwa hivyo akasema badala ya vijana kuumia na njaa na nini, waweze kupata pesa kidogo, shilingi 455 kila siku, waweze kujikimu kimaisha wakingojea hali iweze kuimarika. Kwa hivyo ndio maana tumekuja hapa. Kwa ujumla uhalifu umepungua. Tumeweza kujenga urafiki na vijana kwa sababu tunakutana nao katika kazi mtaani, na tukutane nao bure. Tunakutana tukifanya kazi ya kuimarisha maeneo yetu.
Now, since March, close to 602 school-going girls have been impregnated at Karachuonyo, Homa Bay County. Now, this is according to unofficial data from Kendu Sub-District Hospital. Now, these are, however, the cases that have been reported, with fears that close to similar numbers is out unreported. The blame has been majorly placed on border operators who have since distanced themselves from the accusations.
When you are in school, you are pregnant, you are back at home, nobody's taking care of the child.
Nilipata ball nikiwa bado nilikuwa naenda shule, na huyo mwenye alipata ball nilika yangu si yeye aendi shule. Sasa vile nilipata ball, nikaona ni ngumu kwa ukiwa shuleni na uko na ball. Na pia naomba serikali wanisaidie vile nitalea huyo mtoto yangu na mamangu, na nikizaa huyo mtoto yangu bado nataka niende tu shule.
Tumekuwa tukilaumiwa kwa mimba za mapema ambazo zinatokea kwa watoto wetu wanafunzi. Saizi janga la corona limefanya wako nyumbani, hawaendi shuleni. Lakini hizi mimba nyingi zao zinatokea kwa wale wa rika zao.
Hii shida inatokea kwa kila boma, walimu, daktari na kila wazee.
When we have, for example, 600 girls who are pregnant in Karachuonyo constituency and 6,000 girls who are pregnant in Homa Bay County, we should not forget the fact that we are looking at a commensurate infection of sexually transmitted infections and including HIV. And so as a program, we are ensuring that, when we get the post-rape care forms and we have positive tests on any of those diseases, we ensure follow-up so that the girls can get the necessary medical care.
People living with disability are facing a challenge adapting to the recommended public health protocols such as social distancing and washing hands due to their conditions during this COVID-19 period. I was speaking in Mukurweini, Nyeri County during a function to distribute wheelchairs. Acting CEO of the National Council for People Living with Disability, James Njuga, called on their caregivers to observe the rules and regulations set aside by the Ministry of Health to curb the spread of the pandemic. On his spot, the area member of parliament Anthony Kiai called on people to empower the disabled to ensure they sustain themselves and do not rely on donations from well-wishers.
Nilikuwa na shida ya kutembea kwa sababu mimi nakaa mashinani, na hii siku nimepewa tricycle na itanisaidia sana sababu nitaweza kuisukuma na nitembee na niweze kujifanyia kazi za kudumisha maisha yangu.
Obviously there are challenges because if you are a blind person you need a guide. You can't keep 1.5 meters. If you are a wheelchair user you need someone to push you. You can't keep 1.5 meters, but we are asking them to emphasize on sanitizing.
When we were campaigning, we found a lot of people who had been chained to a tree. Some had been locked inside houses. And as you can see, most of the people, once they are empowered, they are able to live independently. In our office here, we have employed people with disability, about 3 of them. And it is because they were empowered, that's why they have been able to live gainfully.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with much more on Newsfeed. Welcome back. Now, a group of Mijikenda youth cultural ambassadors have launched a program to sensitize coastal residents against COVID-19. The group, consisting of girls and women, wear traditional attire and visit areas like markets in major towns of the coastal counties to enlighten people on the importance of preventing the spread of the deadly virus. Now, the group, together with Kilifi County government officials, visited Kwajiwa Market in Malindi and managed to distribute face masks and sensitize the residents on keeping safe during the pandemic.
With Kilifi County being among the first to be hit by the deadly virus early this year, the Chenda ambassadors have made efforts of sensitizing coastal residents against COVID-19. Speaking at Kwajiwa, Bella Tumaini, Director of Administration in the Office of Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, said currently Kilifi County is recording low COVID-19 numbers and is leading in sensitization campaigns.
Katika kaunti yetu tumejizatiti kujikinga, kuhamasisha watu ili tuweze kupunguza ugonjwa huu. Na kama tujuavyo kufikia sasa, naona ni kaunti yetu iko mbele kwa mahamasisho na idadi iko chini katika ugonjwa huu wa corona.
The campaigns kicked off in Kwale County, where they visited Msambweni and Lunga. The traditional attires, she says, has helped in the sensitization process as people are attracted by the dress and normally pay attention.
Kwanza kabisa ita attract jamii kutusikiza kile tulichonacho. Na tumevaa hivi ili ule ujumbe wetu tulionao uwaingie zaidi.
Felista Kahindi, one of Chenda's coordinators, alluded that they launched the program in Kilifi after finding that poverty levels are high and the locals have had a hard time in accessing face masks. She says plans are underway for visiting Gongoni Market in Magarini constituency.
Kama kikundi tukaonelea afadhali tuanzishe hamasisho hili na kupeana kwa wale ambao hawajiwezi. So far tumepeana barakoa zaidi ya 2,000 kwa sababu as a group huwa tunatafuta partners. So far we're working with the county government na kuna national government na wahisani wengine.
Aside from COVID-19 awareness, the Mijikenda ambassadors have also been educating young girls against teenage pregnancies during this period. Nanok Lauren, TV 47.
Thank you, Nanok Lauren, for that report. Now, a diplomacy war is brewing between Kenya and Tanzania after Kenya failed to list Tanzania among the countries whose flights will be allowed into the country. Tanzania has hit back, barring Kenya Airways from flying into its airspace. Josh Onsare reports.
After Kenya excluded Tanzania flights from the list of countries allowed into the country, Tanzania has now blocked Kenya Airways from her airspace. A letter from the civil aviation in Tanzania says Magufuli's government has decided to nullify its approval for Kenya Airways flights between Nairobi and Dar, Kilimanjaro and Zanzibar effective 1st August until further notice. The director of the authority, Amza Johari, said that Tanzania has noted through a number of media its exclusion in the list of countries whose people will be allowed to travel to Kenya effective August. Earlier this week, Transport CS James Masharia released names of countries that will be allowed to resume international flights to Kenya. They include Uganda, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Morocco, Ethiopia, Canada, South Korea, China, UAE, Qatar, UK, France, Switzerland, USA, except the states of California, Florida, and Texas. CS Masharia said that these countries had been given the green light to resume flights to Kenya because of recording declining COVID-19 cases.
This will be a list which will be reviewed on an ongoing basis, because you know this issue about COVID is not static.
Hours after Kenya released an amended list of countries whose nationalities will be allowed into the country, Tanzania fired back through its Civil Aviation Authority, declaring that KQ's approval is revoked. The move now intensifying the Kenyan-Tanzanian diplomacy row. Tanzanian President John Pombe Magufuli recently announced that Tanzania is now free from COVID-19. Tanzania has not been declaring its COVID-19 daily numbers since the 28th of May this year. The Ministry of Health has assured the travelers' safety through laid down guidelines on flight booking.
Will be provided with a link from the airlines and also from the booking agents. With that link, once they click the link, it will bring a surveillance form. In that surveillance form, they will be able to fill the details as shown in the surveillance form, and then they will submit.
Kenya, Tanzania have been having diplomatic issues with transport ministers from both countries, recently having to meet at the border. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
And a section of Maasai leaders in Narok have called upon the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, to speed up justice process, bringing to book alleged killer cops behind shooting to death of 2 youths in Olposimoru area. Now, Rebecca Masikonte, the Deputy Majority Leader, Nakuru County Assembly, said she was optimistic that IPOA will expose the trigger culprits without favor to conclusively prove the case.
Speaking at the Narok Referral Hospital mortuary after accompanying the family to witness the post-mortem of the deceased, the leaders urged IPOA to carry out investigations and ensure the victims get justice without favor to conclusively prove the case. The leaders say they are optimistic that the process will bear fruits.
Na pia tumeona IPOA kwa ground, kwa hivyo ni kama serikali wameanza uchunguzi. Na postmortem imefanywa na imeonekana ya kwamba vijana walipigwa risasi, mmoja alipigwa risasi kutoka nyuma na risasi ikatoka mbele. Na kama ni risasi ya serikali imetumika kudhulumu mwananchi, basi tunataka hawa askari waondolewe kazini na pia waadhibiwe waende kotini. CID wa Narok wameitisha hiyo risasi, wamechukua kutoka hospitali.
The leaders have further applauded the Ministry of Interior's efforts of ordering audit of firearms, which they described as ideal in unearthing evil intention by responsible officers.
Labda ile audit juzi ilisemekana ifanywe ni ya haki, kwa sababu kuna watu wengine labda wamekalia serikali, labda watu yao wakiguswa wanatumia hiyo bunduki kumaliza watu wengine. Hiyo bunduki nataka ifuatwe mtu alifanya hiyo ni nani, kupitia Minister ya Interior, kupitia PS ya Interior, watafute mtu ile ambaye amefanya hivyo.
The youth who clashed a week ago are said to have been shot under unclear circumstances as they clashed with a rival community after police who responded to separate them by creating a buffer zone.
Tuliona vibaya sana kwa sababu alirushwa kimakusudi kwa risasi na askari. Na mimi mwenyewe nikiwa baba yake ninamtambua huyo askari, hata nikiambiwa kuja toa kwa akiwa wengi. Na nimeona ni uchungu, naomba serikali itutolee haki.
Eli Logova, TV47, Nairobi.
And in sports, Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta has rubbished the underdogs tag as his side takes on Chelsea in the FA Cup final at Wembley this evening, according to the